Imagine losing the love of your life, watching her disappear in the dark, hearing her final scream, and spending 8 years trying to survive the silence she left behind. Now picture this. One random day, you receive a message only she could send, and suddenly you're staring at a live video of your dead wife, alive, terrified, and being watched. But the moment you try to find her, the police start hunting you for murder, and someone else starts hunting her. You're out of time, out of allies, and nothing makes sense anymore. So tell me, do you chase her and risk everything, or stay back and lose her all over again? The movie opens with what looks like a normal, happy night in a French suburb. Alex, our main character, is at a lively house party with his wife, Margot, surrounded by family, laughter, and the kind of comfort that makes everything feel safe. But, of course, this is a thriller, so safe is usually just the movie quietly lying to us. The next morning, Alex and Margot drive out to Lake Charmaine, a secluded place they used to visit when they were kids. It's peaceful, private, and deeply personal to them. On one of the trees, they've carved M+A, and beneath it are several slash marks, like little records of all the times they've returned. Margot takes out her pocket knife and adds another mark, turning the visit into another memory. After that, the couple undresses and jumps into the lake for a swim. They spend the whole day enjoying each other's company, and by evening, they're lying together on the dock, wrapped in that quiet intimacy that only comes before something terrible. That's when Margot brings up Alex's sister. She asks why he's so distant from her and gently pushes him to repair their relationship. Alex, however, refuses to talk about it. The mood shifts fast. What starts as concern turns into an argument, and Margot, frustrated, gets up and swims toward the shore. Big mistake. Not because she did anything wrong, but because this is the exact moment their lives split in two. Moments later, Alex hears her scream. He panics and rushes toward the shore, desperate to find her. But as soon as he gets there, someone attacks him from behind, striking him on the head. Alex collapses into the water, unconscious, while whatever happened to Margot disappears into the dark. Then the story jumps 8 years forward. Alex is now a pediatrician. On the surface, he has a life, a job, patience, responsibilities, but emotionally, he's still stuck at that lake. Margot has been considered dead ever since that night, and Alex has never truly moved on. 8 years have passed, but grief doesn't exactly follow a calendar. At work, Alex is checking on a patient when he hears noise outside. He steps out to investigate and finds a local thug named Bruno causing chaos. Bruno has brought his young son in for treatment, and he refuses to let anyone except Alex see him. It turns out the boy is hemophiliac, and Alex has been treating him for the last 3 years. So while Bruno may be terrifying to everyone else, to Alex, he's also a desperate father. Alex manages to calm him down and immediately takes the boy for a checkup. Later, during lunch, Alex meets Helene, a close friend of his and also his sister Anne's lover. Alex tells Helene he plans to visit Margot's mother soon because the anniversary of Margot's death is approaching. Helene doesn't hide her frustration. She reminds him it has been 8 years and tells him he needs to move on. Easy advice to give, much harder when the person you loved died screaming at the edge of a lake. When Alex returns to his office, something strange happens. He receives an email with the subject line M+A, followed by several slash marks. The same initials, the same marks from the tree. The email contains a link, but when Alex tries to open it, nothing works. Before he can make sense of it, his assistant arrives and tells him a police officer wants to see him. Soon after, Alex goes to his sister Anne's place, where she is practicing horseback riding. After she finishes, the two go inside and meet with the officer. He tells them that 2 male bodies have been found in the forest near Lake Charmaine while workers were digging. The bodies haven't been identified yet, and the police need Alex and Anne's signatures to continue excavating on the family's property. Then the officer adds another disturbing detail. A baseball bat was found with the bodies, and it has type B positive blood on it, a rare blood type that Alex happens to have.
Naturally, Alex is furious, because apparently being traumatized once wasn't enough. Now the past is crawling back with evidence attached. Years earlier, Alex had been cleared of Margot's murder because the crime was linked to a serial killer who targeted only women. But there were still unanswered questions. If Alex was knocked unconscious into the water, how was he later found unconscious on the dock? And who made the anonymous 911 call? Because of these inconsistencies, the officer asks Alex to take a DNA test. Alex explodes with anger, unable to believe that after all this time, they're looking at him again as if he might have killed his own wife. The next day is the anniversary of Margot's death. Alex is restless, heartbroken, and unsettled by the strange email. He checks it again and tries the link, and this time it opens. It leads to a live webcam feed from a shopping mall. At first, Alex simply watches, confused. Then he sees her. A woman appears on the footage who looks exactly like Margot. Not similar, not vaguely familiar, exactly like her. She looks toward the camera with a worried expression, almost as if she knows he's watching. Then she suddenly walks away. Before Alex can even process what he's seeing, he receives another email. It contains a username and password to an email account, along with a warning. He must not tell anyone because they are watching her every move. So now Alex has two impossible problems. His dead wife may be alive, and whoever's watching her might also be watching him. That afternoon, Alex visits Margot's parents. He speaks with Margot's father, who was the chief officer in charge of her case. Alex asks how he identified her daughter, and whether her face was clearly visible. Margot's father says her face was bruised, but he could still recognize her. Alex keeps pressing him with more questions, but the conversation quickly becomes tense. His father-in-law is offended and irritated by the implication that something was wrong with the identification. Eventually, he asks Alex to leave. That evening, Alex goes straight to Helene's apartment and shows her the email and the live CCTV footage. Helene tries to figure out where the place could be, but Alex points out that it cannot be in France because it's still daylight in the video. Meanwhile, Anne is competing in an equestrian event sponsored by a wealthy man named Gilbert Neuville. The event is being held in honor of Gilbert's son, Philippe Neuville, who was also an equestrian and died 8 years ago. A coincidence? In a story like this, probably not. Later, Alex returns home and continues watching the webcam, his mind spinning. After 8 years of mourning Margot, he is suddenly staring at a woman who may be her, alive and scared. But Alex isn't the only one watching. In another location, a man named Bernard and his accomplice are monitoring the same footage. Worse, they have hacked into Alex's computer, meaning they can track the emails he receives. So while Alex thinks he's privately chasing a miracle, someone else is already several steps ahead. The next day, while heading to work, Alex is stopped by Detective Levkowicz, who wants to question him. The detective asks Alex if he used to beat his wife. Alex is horrified. He denies ever touching Margot violently. The detective then shows Margot photos covered in bruises. Her body is badly injured in the pictures, but Alex insists he never hurt her. Later, Alex meets with a high-profile attorney named Elizabeth, who has been hired by Helene. He tells Elizabeth about the photos and repeats that he never abused Margot. He also explains that Margot had once been in a serious car accident, so maybe the pictures were taken for an insurance claim. Trying to understand the photos, Alex goes to see Charlotte, a photographer who used to be Margot's best friend. He asks if she took the bruised pictures, but Charlotte denies it. Then, Alex asks about the car accident, since Charlotte was supposedly with Margot that day.
That's when Charlotte reveals there was no accident. Margot simply showed up bruised and asked Charlotte to say she had been in an accident with her. Alex is stunned. His wife had been hiding something serious, and everyone around him seems to know pieces of it except him. When Alex gets back to his apartment, he searches through Margot's old boxes and finds her daily planner from 8 years earlier. Inside, he notices an appointment marked with the initials PF.
He calls the number listed with it, and a woman answers for a lawyer named Pierre Ferreau, who is currently out of the office. Meanwhile, Detective Lefkowitz and his partner meet with Margot's parents and show them the bruised photos of their daughter. They suspect Alex may have caused the injuries, but Margot's mother strongly insists that Alex would never do something like that. Lefkowitz isn't convinced. He suggests Alex may have killed Margot for a £200,000 life insurance policy. They're also still puzzled by the old question. If Alex was knocked unconscious, how did he end up on the shore? Then the detective reveals that the bruised photos were found in a safe deposit box under Margot's name. Even more disturbing, the key to that box was found in the pocket of one of the dead men discovered near the lake. Margot's father is left speechless. That evening, Bernard and a female assassin go to Charlotte's studio. They attack her and demand information about Margot's whereabouts. Charlotte doesn't have the answers they want, but people like Bernard aren't exactly known for their patience. At the same time, Alex is at home with Helene, trying to open the webmail using the username and password from the email. It doesn't work, but while trying, they realize something alarming. Alex's computer is being hacked by someone else. On the other side of the city, Bernard and his accomplice eventually kill Charlotte after realizing she truly doesn't know anything. Later that night, Alex is walking his dog when he suddenly gets an idea. Instead of using his own hacked computer, he goes to a cyber cafe. The clerk won't let the dog inside, so Alex ties him up outside and goes in. Once at a computer, Alex tries a different account than the one mentioned in the email. This time, it works. Inside the message, Margot asks him to meet her at a park near the bandstand the next afternoon at 5 p.m. Alex is overwhelmed with joy. For the first time in 8 years, he has real reason to believe his wife may still be alive. The next morning, Alex meets with a coroner to discuss Margot's autopsy report. At the time of her death, Alex had been unconscious in the hospital, so he never saw her body. The coroner tells him the records aren't available there, so Alex makes a formal request to access them. Meanwhile, the police find Charlotte's body. From her employee, they learned she was last seen with Alex before she died. That is all the police need to move fast. They storm Alex's apartment and discover gloves in the trash can along with a handgun taped to the back of a desk. Very convenient. Almost too convenient. But to the cops, it looks like enough evidence to declare Alex the killer. They head to his office to arrest him. At that moment, Alex is at work when Elizabeth calls. She tells him Charlotte is dead and the police are coming to arrest him for her murder. Alex panics. He knows he has to meet Margot today, and if the police arrest him, that chance is gone. So he runs. The cops spot him and chase him through the building. Alex manages to outsmart them and hides in a trash can until they leave. Not glamorous, but when you're being framed for murder, dignity becomes optional. Once he's clear, Alex calls Bruno and asks for help. Bruno comes immediately because he feels indebted to Alex for saving his son's life. Together, Alex and Bruno go to the office of Pierre Ferreau, the lawyer whose number was in Margot's planner. Alex asks about his connection to Margot. Pierre admits he represented a local thug named Helio Gonzalez, who had been accused of killing Philippe Noville, Gilbert Noville's son. Margot had come forward as Helio's alibi on the night of Philippe's murder, claiming she had been counseling him. At first, she said it was professional counseling, but later admitted she and Helio had been having an affair for 2 months. Alex is devastated. After everything, he now has to face the possibility that Margot not only lied to him, but cheated on him. Alex and Bruno track down Helio and question him about his relationship with Margot. Helio arrogantly boasts about sleeping with her, clearly enjoying Alex's pain, so Alex changes tactics. He lies and says it can't be true because Margot was with him the night Philippe Noville was murdered. Alex says he can prove it in court and threatens to send Helio to jail. That gets Helio's attention. Feeling cornered, Helio admits the truth. He never had an affair with Margot, and he didn't kill Philippe either. Margot only claimed to be his alibi to get him released from the murder charges. Later, at 5 p.m., Alex arrives at the park to meet Margot, but unknown to him, Bernard and his accomplices are also there, waiting to capture her. Soon, Margot really does arrive. She wears sunglasses and scans the area carefully, but she spots the assassins waiting for their chance to grab her. Terrified, she decides to leave without meeting Alex. Alex catches a glimpse of her from behind and starts following her, but before he can reach her, Bernard's group captures him. They force Alex into a van and begin torturing him. The female assassin demands to know where Margot is, but Alex insists he has no idea. She prepares to kill him. Then, just in time, Bruno arrives with his accomplice. Bruno kills 2 of the thugs, rescues Alex, and they escape in their van. For once, Alex's connection to a dangerous criminal actually pays off. Meanwhile, Detective Levkowicz goes to the morgue to collect Margot's autopsy report. While examining the report, he receives new information. Alex has booked a flight to Argentina, leaving in just a few hours. Elsewhere, Bernard meets with his boss, and the truth becomes much clearer. His boss is Gilbert Neuville. Gilbert says he cannot accept that his son is dead while his killer, Margot, may still be alive, so he orders Bernard to find her quickly and end it. At the airport, the police rush to apprehend Alex, believing he is trying to flee, but they discover the flight booking was actually made by Margot and she reserved 2 seats. The police realize she may be there and hurry to catch her before she boards the flight. Margot is at the boarding gate when she sees a news report on television about Charlotte's death. The report also says Alex is the prime suspect. This destroys her. Instead of escaping, she changes her mind. She decides she has to help Alex clear his name and leaves the airport before the police can reach her. That evening, Alex calls Elizabeth and tells her he can prove he didn't kill Charlotte. Meanwhile, Detective Levkowicz meets with Helene and tells her he knows Alex didn't murder Margot. He shows her the autopsy report and reveals that Margot's photos have been removed from all the files. Even stranger, the report claims the dead woman was a heroin addict, even though Margot never used drugs in her life. The official story is falling apart. When Helene returns home, Anne finally confesses that she was the one who took the bruised photos of Margot. She also reveals who caused the bruises, Philippe Neuville. Helene is furious and demands to know why Anne never said anything. Anne tearfully apologizes and explains that Margot asked her not to. Helene accuses Anne of protecting Gilbert Neuville because she works for him and rides his horses. The argument escalates until Anne slaps Helene. At the same time, Elizabeth meets with a district attorney and presents a photo of Alex's dog tied outside the cybercafe. She explains that witnesses can prove Alex was at the cybercafe on the night Charlotte was murdered. That means he could not have killed her. The next day, Anne tells Alex everything and apologizes for hiding the truth about the photos. Detective Levkowicz also arrives and shows Alex the autopsy report. As Alex reads it, he notices something shocking. The dead woman was significantly taller than Margot, but the photos of the body are missing, and they are believed to have been stolen by Margot's father, who was the chief cop at the time. Now, Alex knows exactly who he needs to confront. He goes to Margot's father's house, but when he arrives, Margot's father holds him at gunpoint and tells him to sit down. Then, the truth finally begins to come out. Margot's father reveals that 2 months before the lake incident, a child from the Neuville Foundation orphanage approached Margot and told her that Philippe Neuville had been assaulting children there. Margot decided to confront Philippe. She invited him to her house while her father waited outside the door, ready to hear Philippe confess so he could arrest him. But Philippe didn't confess. Instead, he became violent and brutally beat Margot. Her father says he could not stand there and watch his daughter be attacked, so he killed Philippe with a shotgun. During this confession, it's revealed that the police are listening through a wire worn by Alex. But suddenly, the microphone cuts off and fills with static. For a moment, the police can't hear anything. Then the microphone starts working again. Margot's father continues. He says he disposed of Philippe's body and tried to frame Helio Gonzalez, the local thug who lived at the Children's Trust. But Margot refused to let Helio take the blame for a murder he didn't commit, so she gave him an alibi. She then placed the photos of her bruised body in a safe deposit box and contacted Gilbert Neuville, warning him she had incriminating evidence against his son, Philippe. Margot's father tells Alex that Gilbert believed Margot had killed Philippe, so Gilbert hired 2 men to kill her at the lake. But Margot's father knew what Gilbert was planning. He went to the lake that night and killed the 2 hired men, saving Margot. He buried their bodies nearby. He also rescued Alex from the water while he was unconscious and left him on the shore. Then he searched for a dead body to use as Margot's. Eventually, he found the body of a dead junkie woman who had been stabbed. He dumped the body 100 kilometers away, mutilated her face, and placed Margot's ring on her finger so everyone would believe Margot was dead. He did it because he knew Gilbert would never stop hunting Margot if he learned she was alive. He also lied to Margot and told her Alex had died so she would not come back. Then he sent her to Spain and never contacted her again. Margot's father gives Alex an envelope containing detailed information about all the crimes Gilbert has committed. Then he brings up Alex's father, who used to work as a trainer at Gilbert's stables. It turns out Alex's father had discovered Philippe's abuse of children and filed a complaint against Philippe, a complaint that Margot's father had written. But Gilbert was so powerful that he simply tore apart the complaint. Then he had Alex's father killed in a staged hunting accident. Hearing this, Alex is overcome with rage. He points a gun at his father-in-law, shaken by the truth of everything Gilbert has taken from him. As Alex leaves the house with the envelope of evidence against Gilbert, the police arrive to arrest Margot's father. But before they can, a gunshot rings out. Margot's father pulls the trigger on himself. In the aftermath, the police finally arrest Gilbert Neuville for the crimes he has committed over the years. Alex drives to Lake Charmaine, processing everything Margot's father told him. But then comes the final twist. Margot's father actually knew the wire recorder. When the static filled the wire top, it wasn't an accident. He turned up the television noise so the police wouldn't hear the real truth. Because Margot's father was not the one who killed Philippe. Margot was. She had grabbed the shotgun and killed Philippe herself. To protect her daughter, Margot's father took the blame, built an entire false death around her, and ultimately sacrificed his own life. Alex arrives at the lake, overwhelmed by everything he has lost, everything he has learned, and everything that was stolen from him. He stands before the tree where he and Margot carved their initials years ago. Then he hears footsteps. Margot emerges from the bushes. Alex drops to his knees, unable to hold back his tears. After 8 long years of grief, lies, silence, and separation, they are finally reunited at the place where their story was supposed to end. But instead, it begins again.